Apple is about to charge you $200 more, not for a new product. For the same one with a smaller notch, the bill of materials for the iPhone 18 Pro Max is expected to rise by nearly $300 compared to the iPhone 17 Pro Max, according to a new Counterpoint Research analysis. And here's the part nobody is saying out loud. Even with a big price hike, the iPhone 18 Pro Max could be less profitable than the iPhone 17 Pro Max. So Apple pays $300 more to build it, charges you $200 more to buy it, and still makes less money, which means one of two things. Either this phone is genuinely that much better to build, or we are watching something shift permanently in how Apple prices its products. There's one number buried in the Counterpoint report that changes how you should read everything else about this phone. We'll get to it, but first, let's talk about what you're actually getting for the extra money. This is the iPhone 18 Pro Max breakdown. 2 months before Apple announces it, everything in this video is based on Counterpoint Research, analyst notes, leaks, and regulatory filings. Nothing here is made up. And I've been watching this pricing story evolve for about 6 weeks now, and one thing has become very clear. Most coverage is either panicking about the price or hype cycling the specs. Neither of those things helps you make a decision. So that's what this is, the full picture. Let's start with the price, because it's the story under every other story here. A new Counterpoint Research estimate suggests the iPhone 18 Pro Max's bill of materials could rise by nearly $300 over the iPhone 17 Pro Max, driven mainly by soaring memory and 2-nanometer chip costs. To offset the hit, Apple is reportedly weighing an average retail price increase of about $200, even though margins on the new flagship could still come in thinner than last year. Read that again slowly. Costs up $300, price up $200, margin thinner. That's not a greedy Apple story. That's an industry-wide cost story, and it's happening to everyone. NAND flash costs for the device are said to exceed $250 on their own. DRAM pricing is also climbing sharply, with both components facing pressure from a broader memory chip shortage tied to surging demand for AI hardware. So the AI boom, and the one everyone's been celebrating, is now literally making your next iPhone more expensive. That's the version of the story nobody titles their video. Now, here's where it gets more nuanced. Analysts suggest Apple will use an aggressive pricing strategy for the base models. That would mean a starting price of $1,099 for iPhone 18 Pro and $1,199 for the Pro Max. Apple would then potentially increase prices on its higher storage tiers, which means if you're buying the base 256 gigabyte model, you might be fine. If you're the person who always grabs the 512 gigabyte or the 1 terabyte version, Apple may shift pricing adjustments toward those higher configurations. Specifically, the entry-level iPhone 18 Pro Max may stay relatively stable. The 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte versions, that's where the increases land hardest. That's not a small caveat. That's the whole game. Okay, what does the extra money actually buy? Let's go through what's real versus what's rumor. Starting with the chip, both the iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max are expected to run on Apple's A20 Pro chip, built on TSMC's 2-nanometer process. This is Apple's first 2-nanometer mobile chip ever. Now, here's what 2 nanometers actually means for you in real life. This upgrade means the iPhone 18 Pro will be roughly 15% faster while using 30% less power. 15% faster, 30% less power. That's not a spec sheet number. That's the difference between a phone that lasts a full day and one that doesn't ask you to charge it twice. Speaking of which, the battery capacity is estimated at 5,100 to 5,200 milliamp hours, the largest ever in an iPhone. The iPhone 17 Pro Max was already the best iPhone battery we've seen. This goes further. And the display? a 6.9-inch LTPO-OLED panel with 120 Hz promotion and up to 3,200 nits of brightness. At 3,200 nits, this display will be readable in direct afternoon sunlight, something budget and mid-range phones still struggle with. And that's not marketing language. That's a real outdoor experience difference. Now, here's the segment I actually wanted to make this video for, because the camera upgrade this year, people mention it and then move on, and that is a mistake. The variable aperture 48 megapixel main lens is a first for any iPhone. Variable aperture, that sounds like jargon, so let me translate it. Every camera lens has an aperture, the opening that lets light in. On every iPhone ever made, that opening is fixed. You get one setting, and the software tries to compensate for the rest. A variable aperture lens works like the pupil of a human eye. In bright sunlight, it narrows like a 2.8 to prevent overexposure, meaning for the first time, your iPhone camera is responding to light the way your eyes do, not the way an algorithm approximates it. This is the kind of upgrade that doesn't show up in benchmark scores. It shows up in the photo you took of your kid at the beach or in the video you shot at golden hour that actually looked like golden hour. And there's something else about this camera, something that made me reconsider who this phone is actually for. If you're currently on an iPhone 14 Pro or older, the iPhone 18 Pro Max upgrade math works heavily in your favor. The camera, chip, and battery improvements will feel transformational, not incremental. But if you're on the iPhone 16 Pro or 17 Pro, honest answer, this is a harder call. If you already own a recent model like the 17 Pro or 16 Pro, the upgrades may feel incremental rather than revolutionary. And that's the part I think you need to actually hear, not the hype. Okay? Two things that are getting buried in the coverage. First, for the first time, Apple is splitting its fall launch. The standard iPhone 18 and the budget-friendly iPhone 18e are being pushed to spring 2027. That means if you want a new iPhone this fall, you're choosing between the iPhone 18 Pro, the iPhone 18 Pro Max, the new iPhone 18 Air, or the rumored iPhone Fold, all of which start at $999 or more. No budget option, no middle ground. Fall 2026 is a premium-only iPhone season. Let that sink in. Apple has never done this before. If you were planning to buy this fall and you weren't sure whether to go pro, Apple has just removed the middle ground. You're either going pro or you're waiting until spring. That's a decision Apple made for you, and I'm not going to pretend that isn't a little bold. Second thing, Tim Cook is expected to hand over the CEO role to Apple's John Ternus around the same time as the September keynote, making the iPhone 18 Pro, Pro Max, and Fold launch Ternus's first major event in charge. This is Ternus's debut. His first act as Apple CEO is launching the most expensive iPhone lineup in Apple history, alongside the first ever foldable iPhone. No pressure. And that actually matters for the product. Apple watchers suggest this is one reason the company is working hard to keep the foldable iPhone on schedule rather than risk a late image-denting debut for its new chief executive. So the foldable is on schedule, the Pro Max is on schedule, and for once, the timing pressure is internal, not just supply chain. One more thing, and this one is quiet, but I think it's going to matter more than anything on the spec sheet. The iPhone 18 Pro Max is coming with iOS 27 out of the box. The new OS brings a system-wide customization update, and the new long-awaited context-aware Siri, now officially called Siri AI, as announced at UDC 2026. Siri AI is getting a major upgrade with Apple Intelligence and Gemini, and will finally gain the promised context awareness and the ability to operate within apps. Context awareness, operate within apps. If that actually works, well, and I mean actually works, not in a demo, that changes how you use this phone, not how it benchmarks how you use it. That's a different category of upgrade. And it requires specifically the A20 Pro and the Pro tier RAM to run. The full Siri AI experience currently requires the Pro tier 12 gigabytes of RAM. So it's the Pro and Pro Max, not the standard iPhone 18, that deliver the complete experience. So the AI story isn't coming to every iPhone, it's coming here first, which is either Apple being strategic or Apple being Apple, probably both. So, should you buy the iPhone 18 Pro Max? Here's my actual take. If you're on an iPhone 14 Pro or older, yes, easily. The camera, the battery, the chip, and the AI features are going to feel like a different category of device. The price hurts, but the upgrade math is real. If you're on an iPhone 16 Pro or 17 Pro, wait for the full review. Specifically, wait for real-world Siri AI tests. Because if that's the genuinely broken open moment people think it is, it changes the upgrade math. If it isn't, the camera and chip alone probably don't move the needle enough to justify $1,300 or more. And here's the thing nobody is saying about the price. Apple is potentially removing lower storage options to normalize higher starting points. The company is also transitioning its revenue model from one-time hardware sales to long-term digital services. This allows them to secure revenue over a device's lifespan, ensuring financial success despite rising hardware expenses. So the price isn't just going up because components cost more. The price is going up because Apple is changing what it is. It's becoming a services company that sells hardware as the entry point. And whether you think that's smart business or a slow-moving scam, it's the reality of what you're buying into. I'm going to have a full hands-on the moment this lands in September. But if you want my early read right now, this is a great phone in a category that Apple is deliberately making harder to opt out of. And that's the part I think you should sit with. Let me know in the comments, is the price increase a deal breaker for you, or is this just the new normal?